Yo ho ho in a bottle of rum. Bum bum bum. Rum bum 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 bum. A year later. When does this come out? Maybe not a year later. We got it. We got it. I got games downloading as I speak. That's coming later. What's up, everybody? Here for another Beanstalk podcast. I am your host, Tyler Bean. Welcome in, pile on in, pile on in. Come on. Everybody get a seat, grab a spot. Get your drinks, get your beverage, get your smoke, get your, you know what I'm saying? Get your whatever you need to get. We got a whole discussion today about how, let me know, before we even get started, how do y'all feel about discount, like, off-brand produce? Let me know. Are you for or against the bottom shelf? So, like, instead of Cocoa Pebbles, they're like Cocoa Stones. How do you feel about that? We'll touch base next week. Welcome, guys. Welcome in. Today, Joe will not be joining us, unfortunately. He's doing something. I think he said that he had I think he said that something about Ohio State winning national champ. I don't know. He's not here. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what he's doing. Go blue, right? What matters is today, Tyler Bean, me, the host, we are going to be discussing a bunch of cool stuff. And it's going to be, frankly, the first one where we don't have a co-host. I think it's going to be cool. It's going to get some time for us to just figure out a new pace for stuff, flex a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We got a new setup. We're looking good. We're feeling good. Going to talk about a little consoles. We're going to talk about some, obviously, Dragon Ball Z. It's going to be peppered throughout. Marvel Rivals, Overwatch, a bunch of other stuff. So, if that interests you, come on, pile in. Like I said, pile in. We're getting it started. But first, really quickly, if you do like the content, guys, we're making a push for 100 followers on Twitch. I'm trying to get a good 100 followers on YouTube. I'm trying to get establishments across the board as far as social media presence goes. We're going to get consistent content going. It's just going to be a good year. 2025, we're looking alive. So, that being said, the Switch 2 was announced, I think, about a week ago come this time. Some notable things that happened with the console. We're not going to have any sound playing. But really quickly, Switch 2 was announced last week, I think, maybe coming up on 2 weeks. Obviously, everybody else reacted to it already, but we're just sitting down. We're going to get into it. This is probably going to be... it's going to be a culmination of some recent news and some older news I just haven't really reacted on. Obviously, the Switch is going to be some recent news. I have an OLED Switch. I had the original Switch. I don't play it as much as I would like to, just because my preference for gaming is super hyper competitive. You guys have seen it across the channel. I just like competitive games. I like giving call outs. I think I've on a deeper level some sick competitive addiction. Right? It's that extra accent that just on top of winning, I know that I destroyed my opponent and took victory from them, right? So I don't know what it's about. I don't know. But PS5 Pro with the disc drive, shoutouts. That's what we've been on. But the Switch, I did buy Prince of Persia, that last Prince of Persia game. I have Zelda, right? I have the Breath of the Wild, and I have Tears of the Kingdom. I have Kirby Forgotten Lands. All games besides Breath of the Wild I have not beaten. I don't know. I feel like if there is a demand for the Switch content, I can definitely stream it. So you guys let me know. But with that being said, we'll watch the trailer. There we go. From what I've seen, they're very cool stuff. Looks like there's a new stand, USB-C ports. Obviously, that was in the first one though, so I'm not quite sure. The games are gonna be backwards compatible. I don't know if maybe the newer games can run at just higher frame rate like versus the older games. I don't know. I just thought the console did that. New XL black controllers, which is pretty cool. Instead of the standard white ones that it always came with, this is more like an Elite Pro. Still the same color design, but this is going to be where the interesting part is, right? So it looks like clicky buttons first, in my opinion. The way that those were moving was the clicky buttons. There's an extra rubber portion for drift, in my opinion, as well as this is something that's going to probably address this though. This. I had people saying that they didn't like the slide. The slide saved thousands of dollars, and that's why they implemented this. They said, we're not selling enough off of liability. It's just literally a reason to play. That's literally just a reason to play with the controller. Is that sound? God forbid it makes a noise. And it looks like there's a lever. Oh, I see. And then they announced a new Mario Kart. So, here's the thing, man. That's easier for the peripherals. Yeah, but look at that. So, I saw that, and I don't know if it's the old man in me, but I know for a fact that all that shit's gonna break, dude. So the mouse was one of the things. That mouse functionality is pretty interesting. Mario Kart, hopefully the battery life, the weight of it. There's a new processor, resolution's 1080p. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. I think that's gonna go into. They announced the Midnight Black collection for the PlayStation DualSense Edge controller. So we do things a little bit differently over here at QMG now, right? So we do things a little bit differently over here at QMG now. So that's the Travis Scott. We got the Cactus Jack thumb grip right here. Cactus Jack thumb grip, the extension cone on the left. And then we go into we got the Green Goblin, purple, green pearlescent controller. Yes, it's custom. Yes, it's not modded, but yes, it's custom. I had to fucking disassemble that shit, and it was absolute nightmare. When I say nightmare, I mean nightmare. Nightmare. Absolute nightmare to disassemble that controller, and it was a pain in the butt. But we got it done. I'm gonna buy this one just because I know I sabotaged that last one, right? And I literally was like, I'm fed up with just having this controller. I'm gonna customize it. I shit you not. A week later, they announced this controller. I shit you not. I had to wait in the mail for it for like weeks. And then they're like, you know what? You got that? You put that together? Nah, we're just gonna launch one. I said, okay, no, you're good. You're good. I appreciate that. So, if you don't already have this controller, one of the best controllers, if not the best controller I've ever had, you can disassemble the analog sticks, as you can see here. I think I've already talked about this on this channel, but this is one of the best purchases as far as gaming goes that I've ever made. The battery life is a little bit, but you kind of have to mandatory charge it like within not the same session, the next, like within 2 sessions, right? And honestly, if you're streaming and stuff like I am, you're gonna have to charge it that session. So knowing that in advance though is kind of, take it with a grain of salt, and I don't think it's as bad. But I think with that being said, they did announce a bunch of the headsets and a bunch of other peripherals too. I wanted this one, and that's what inspired mine. I was like, you know what? This chroma, I'm gonna get that other chroma. This is what I'm just gonna get this. That black's probably gonna get greasy, but we will go into another thing that they recently just came out. Y'all probably seen it already, but we're just gonna have it here on this channel. Joe and I, shout out to Joe, we did play this a couple days ago. It was pretty fun. I might even be able to kind of pepper a couple clips in here from what we had, but honestly, I think they, come to think of it, I think that all in the trailer you see about pretty much everything, right? Gamma 1 and 2 are pretty similar, unfortunately, and this first version of Gohan and his Super Saiyan are basically the same. But once you go into Ultimate Gohan, more you start to see like the uniqueness. Orange Piccolo, I really like. Obviously Gohan Beast and all these other guys, but the graphics were amazing. I'm actually, now that I have this disc drive, I'm gonna try it on my PlayStation Pro. I'm very excited to see the performance, if there is any, because they're already really, really gorgeous games. I feel like what it'll come down to is like the tiny particle effects and stuff. But no, it was honestly, I put a lot of time into Sparking Zero, and then once with all like the balancing and like all the extra patches and stuff like that, I didn't really keep up with it, or frankly before it, because it kind of ruined the game, right? So Orange Piccolo, he can turn into big Orange Piccolo too, which is really cool. And I guess he's got unique um, moves that he does if you fight a giant. Cell Max I did use, and he was pretty cool. They're just really slow, and they kind of not nerfed larger characters, but they larger characters used to be able to spam, so now they are definitely nerfed. That's a unique engagement as well with just Cell Max, and I think that's Gamma 2. I had a cool moment with Joe, and this is that unique moment with Piccolo, right? Like literally everything's in. And this is literally the unique part. That's it. They just cut that ending part where he hits you with like a fist blast. And then you got Gohan Beast, right? Gohan Beast has the reason why I'm never more than likely ever going to play competitively in this game again is he has a frame, I'm talking a 1 frame teleport, right? So I'll show you right what happens. That move right there, all right, those are 2 different moves. So that move right there, when he gets shot, this is also a different move. This is the move that Joe and I clashed with, which is so sick. This move right there, he smiles and he goes into that kick move. And it's boom and a boom, and then you literally just kick. That first move, it looks like they like swapped those cutscenes around. But obviously gorgeous. I wish that they didn't take so long, man. That's my biggest gripe about this, is that they just took so long that I feel personally, right? It lost its luster, right, man? Like this game was the most played game consecutive for like 2-3 months, and then it just died. So Joe and I were playing this, right? Like I said, I really like Orange Piccolo, both the large, like the big form, and then the all of the like his level up, and then Orange Piccolo, and then the evolved Orange Piccolo is what I guess we could call it. I like all of those. Ultimate Gohan's cool, but you do have to level up 4 times to get to Beast, or you could just choose Beast and he's stronger. But and then the Piccolo costume is sick too. You can use that with the first 2 forms, and then after he turns into like Big Mon, he switches off. All right, a little bit more Dragon Ball Z news. Get into that. Dragon Ball Legends. Dragon Ball Legends. So, Dragon Ball Legends, I was able to pull this character, right? I didn't have to pull too many times as far as like rotations and stuff go, which is cool. That being said, still have Gohan Beast, and Gohan Beast is still pivotal, but he's Hybrid Saiyans, right? The Hybrid Saiyans, and then they also go with Hybrid Saiyans. I've been running Gotenks. We'll let this play. They do have this copyright music, so I had to mute it. But I was able to pull the unit personally, and I love it. Maybe not love. Love is a strong word. I love Gohan Beast. Hey, Gohan Beast is the best unit in the club right now. Is Gohan Beast, but this unit's pretty good. They do have a couple unique abilities, right? Like the fact that he will be purple Trunks, and then once Gohan dies, he becomes blue. I think that's pretty cool as far as like just character design, right? I think that's pretty cool. Tag unit, obviously, so you can go back and forth between if he's a disadvantage or an advantage against greens. Um, Something else that's cool is obviously like no matter what, he can counter Gohan Beast. He has a counter AOE green that he just kind of like would do how kind of think Jiren Yellow did and a couple other characters. And then if Gohan doesn't die, he has a Legends limited finish is what you're seeing right here, which is decent. I mean, it looks like any other tag unit finish, right? And then their unique keeps filling up, filling up. Okay, cool. Once Gohan dies, then Trunks becomes kind of nuts, and he basically becomes, I'm not gonna lie, Ultimate Gohan. Purple from Z, he can just spam, right? And the other thing is, look at this animation. Animation is really the reason why I wanted to pull for this, because I remember when I was little, man, and Future Gohan was like basically like non-canon and all this extra stuff, right? But win or lose, you essentially get a unique animation. So if you can Legends limited them, which I think is just with a regular, I might be wrong about that, but I think it's just a regular blue, which I like too, is when like, so Purple Cell, Legends limited, and Green Gohan or Green Goku Super Saiyan 2, this last one, and a couple other ones they can just do with a regular blue. They're right, their Legends limited finish. That way you don't have to do your super to do the finish. I can do it anytime if I just hit you with it. I like that. It kind of makes you have to watch out for all that stuff. But then he has the same effects as Gohan. It's pretty cool. You know me, if we're talking about Dragon Ball Z, you know that I literally hate Android Saga. Cannot stand it. Cannot stand it. Cannot stand it. And I hate it. I hate the androids. Right? I want you to enjoy the Dragon Ball that you like. It's not for me. Right? Kid Buu Saga, Saiyan Saga. If you want to talk Dragon Ball Z, hell, Budokai Tournament. Budokai Tournament. But not solely Budokai Tournament, but if you pepper that, I'd have a conversation. But Budokai Tournament, Saiyan Saga, Kid Buu. Sign me up. Right? Androids, you can miss me. Cell's cool, but unfortunately he's in the Android Saga, and I just do not care about Dr. Gero. I do not care about any of these androids. Let's see this. We'll just watch this, and then I think we can go to the next segment. But this is a example of, right? He goes, Gohan! And then he, boom. No matter what, that's a different animation. So, right, he will come in and protect you, which is devil's in the details. I don't think I've seen animation levels like this that crazy. You beat them. Some crazy stuff, man. It's some crazy stuff. Really good attention to detail. And overall, like I said, very fun unit. Very fun unit. I guess that's going to bring us into the main meat and potatoes of this podcast. This is why y'all showed up this week. Because this week, we're doing things a little bit differently, right? Like, you're chilling with Dad. Dad wants to talk about specs. He wants to talk about tech. And he wants to talk about fun. Papa Bean wants to talk about fun. If you're having fun, make sure you like I said, the video, share with your friends, follow, subscribe. Trying to make a push for more content and consistent content this year. With this disk drive, I'm going to be unleashed. So we are going to talk about how much I love Marvel Rivals. Don't mess with the amazing and this is how serious I am. I love Marvel Rivals. Okay? I don't know how many times you need me to say it. I feel like we talked about this a couple podcasts ago. Right? I feel like I gotta say it every other week because you guys keep forgetting. Overwatch is gone. Okay? It's not, and I don't think it's coming back, unfortunately. It's gone. What we have here is the new and improved variant of that same energy, right? I'm telling you, something I thought that would be really cool. I'm not here to drag Overwatch through the mud, and that's what we're gonna have a discussion about, right? So for the remainder of the podcast, we're gonna be talking about the comparative differences in my experience with both of these games. I'm sure if Joe was here, he would attest that he loves Marvel Rivals. He's just a lower rank than I am, and I'm Diamond 3. I think Joe's like a silver. But yeah, Diamond 3, Reed Richards, Sir Stretch, King Stretch, Lord Bounce. He's also a Lord. You know what I'm talking? Hey, you know what? My brain blast idea is that I'm just gonna show you guys my stats. Wow, look at that. Okay, so these are my. Maybe we can go and I'll go to Overwatch as well. That's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna talk about Marvel Rivals first and why I love it. We'll go and look at Overwatch and then again comparing stuff. So I have not even a fraction of the amount of time that I have in Overwatch, okay? Not even a fraction. But so far, I have a decent amount of time in this game, right? And it just came out, is the other thing. I have a collective of people that also play, and their feedback is pretty positive, is the thing. And they are coming from, I would say, not the same, I don't know what the word is. They're not coming from the same background as, like, I'm coming from Overwatch to play this game. They see superheroes and they're having a good time. Me, I needed a replacement for Overwatch just because, like, Overwatch was the game that I played nonstop. It was the game that essentially just made me want to it got me hooked on competitive gaming. I really think that's what it is. Like, I would cut off work, I'd play a little bit of Overwatch. I was there from the inception of it. But it got a little bit stale, right? It got a little bit stale, and like, it was very repetitive. And there's only so much that microtransactions can do. It's supposed to, in my opinion, microtransactions should like spice up the game. It's still the main game, right? But it's not the sole reason you play the game. And Overwatch 2 became that. It felt like I'm just playing this game to spend money, and then it's also toxic. It's also like, you didn't have cheaters in Overwatch that I experienced. I didn't play on PC. Again, I play on console, but it just, I don't know. It got pretty stale, and over time they didn't really do anything innovative as far as, like, the new characters were cool, but then Ramatra. What about my boys? So, right? You come over to a game where they just give you Doomfist. Launch. Look at my boy Iron. Look at him. Look at the Lord. Look at the Lord. They gave him Doomfist abilities, bro. I'm Doomfist, I'm Genji. Look at this man's ult. Brother. Do you know who I am? Did you just say that I can literally just shout and scream? He's saying stuff in Chinese. I have no idea, and he's gonna kick your ass. I'm as close to Jotaro from JoJo as I almost could be, or Dio. What are we talking about here, right? So that's just an example. I've been having a lot of fun with Reed Richards. So Mr. Fantastic. Mr. Fantastic's not going to be on the stat list, but something I just thought that would be pretty cool, and then we can probably go into the Overwatch portion. Or I could just keep gushing. I feel like I'll compare a little bit more. But this is going to be console games, right? The platform and the modes. So I play comp and I play on PlayStation. Always, that's how it's always been. I'm just not really a PC guy. I feel like PC is for work, and I'll play on a console for games. That's just where my head's at. All my PC stuff is pretty much just like business or like work oriented, and then all my gaming stuff's clearly for games. It just helps me organize as well. But I understand like PC is more convenient and it's less expensive and right like and Steam and I get it. I get it. I've heard both sides. I just have a small fortune in PlayStation, man. You know, I love Sony. Hashtag go Sony. Um, we can go and look at my character. We'll start with my characters and then we'll go to the rest. The Storm just got a buff. This I want to also note that this is from the first week of January, so this is not what current time period is. It is January 24th as of this recording, right? Um, so that's like a good amount of weeks. I think they're gonna do monthly, is what they said that they're gonna do. So we'll see what happens. Um, Storm got a buff, right? She is we use way more than 1%, and I would also argue, dude, her win rate is probably insane. Um, but Iron Fist, look at this boy. Look at this boy. Look at this man. 51% win rate. 5% pick rate. Brother. 5%? 5%? Out of 100 people, only 5 people would choose this guy. That's correct math, right? Is that quick math? 5? 5. 5% is insane to me, but Magic users get away with murder, right? Their pick rate is 5. I think this is way more as well now, and I don't know about Captain America. Definitely is higher. Spider-Man, I'm not quite sure. We'll touch base back when in the next one. I think Joe will definitely be here for the next podcast. But Iron Fist, right? 52%. We'll just round up. That's very good. 55% of Magic, very good. I think that Punisher is at 8% and under. I don't think that is quite accurate either. I think that's slightly skewed. Adam Warlock, I guess something that also is important. If you haven't heard about Marvel Rivals, and my opinion why they're so successful is that they just copied what Overwatch did. Overwatch, when it started out, was just really unique, and it was like characters nobody ever heard about. The story was so complex so that you wanted to learn more about them, right? And so when you just kind of look at it as a step back, you're like character rich game that people can get into that has good gaming mechanics. That's the other thing, right? The graphics were fantastic, and then it was Blizzard who made the game modes and mechanics. It was fantastic. It was honestly like it was a once in a lifetime. You had to be there for Overwatch. It's gone. You had to be there for Overwatch 1. It was honestly awesome. Everybody would play it. Anybody that had come over to my house would just literally just be like, "What's this? Let me try." Quick play was awesome. You didn't have to necessarily grind for the battle pass. I would just give them money every season. That's how much I loved Overwatch. I was a bartender at the time. I would just give them money. I said, you know what? I said, I'll buy the battle pass again. And then that was with loot boxes, right? So they took away the loot boxes, and then it came solely behind microtransactions, and they also made it free to play. The second one, if they would have not made it free to play, and in my opinion, charged $40 still, right, for Overwatch 2, and then but they pretty much bait and switched, and that's another reason why it kind of burned, in my opinion, the community Overwatch did. That's where you have such an opportunity. It's kind of like when CD Projekt Red, they flopped with Cyberpunk, and then they had to take all this time to fix the mess that they made, and people not forgot about The Witcher because The Witcher is so renowned, but it overtook like how people were, the perception of that, right? Like they're just like, yeah, Witcher was cool, but they flopped hardcore, right? It's like, imagine in sports you do really well, but then you fumble the ball all the time. People are gonna remember the fumble. They're not gonna necessarily remember that 1 or 2 long runs that you had, right? It's the same kind of analogy. I just think that where they fumbled, no pun intended, Marvel ended up stepping up. They took a bunch of the unique characters that Overwatch had brought brought to the table, and then they just put them together, right? So a couple, for example, and then we can kind of keep it pushing. Like I said, Iron Fist is like Doom Fist, and Genji, in my opinion, right? He's like a karate Genji, and I fucking love him. Namor is literally Torbjorn, who can fucking fly sometimes. Doesn't make any sense. He gets 3 turrets, and he can shoot. Doesn't make any sense. Hawkeye's just straight up Hanzo. Okay. Yeah, all right, right? And then he even has, like, he's got a after image Storm Arrow. So imagine Storm Arrow where it's a, and it used to be the burst, but then they're like, no, you're having too much fun. No burst. Right? Do away with that. Do the rapid fire for Hanzo. Hawkeye now has it. If you move, you leave an after image, and he can shoot that, and you take full damage. So he literally, it doesn't even matter. He's like, I never miss. Star-Lord is probably the best comparison for all these characters. He's literally Tracer mixed with Reaper mixed with Soldier, right? So you got Soldier with his ultimate, because he literally just can fly around and auto aim, right, and not miss. He goes, I love Iron Fist, but I don't know what he's saying, right? So I can't. More importantly, I know what he's saying. I can't say it because it would just be bad. It would be a bad look if I tried to say that. They'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm not gonna scream Iron Fist all, but I can scream Star-Lord's all. He goes, and then Winter Soldier again. So like Overwatch used to have that, man. They used to have, like, you just yell out ults. If you were a nerd and you're playing Overwatch, you would just yell out ults. That's how you know your people, man. Iron Man, very fun to play. And we'll get into the meat and potatoes now, right? So I thought it would just be interesting to kind of look at the top picked rates and then the percentages that they use. Cloak and Dagger, kind of like a Moira, but then has an AoE, right? An AoE that kind of covers. And there's a lot of crowd control in this game, right? Because you can pick 6 tanks. You can pick 6 damage. You could pick 6 healers, right? You could pick all these variants. They don't make you do a role queue, and that's a big thing that people love or hate about Marvel Rivals. I love it because it gives you free will, man, to just choose and want to do what you have to do to win or lose, right? If you don't want to change, all right, whatever, right? But it doesn't make you necessarily have to get good with a role that you don't want to do in order to win, right? That's literally why I learned how to be heals and tank, is because those were always the rules that sucked in Overwatch, right? And I could never find, you could always find people who want to play damage, right? In this game, I did a 180. I'm going to be damage and kill, and people can figure out about the heals, right? And so I've been having a ball because it kind of takes the pressure off of stuff. I just got to worry about staying alive, and I also got to worry about getting kills. If you don't get kills, then that's usually when I will switch, is because I'm like, obviously I got to get hit, I got to get kills and stuff like that. But Penny Parker reminds me a lot of how Orisa was. She has this spider nest, okay, where if the spiders basically they're in a cocoon, they're in a little cocoon over, let's say there's a wall right here and they're behind, the spiders can crawl over and they fucking explode and they track you. And then she can extend her net, right? So when you're setting up, she can extend her net for the spiders to just go out wherever. The thing that sucks the most though is the health pool that they have for not only all the clones, right? All the clones, nests, and all the kind of like setups and the squids. Everything takes at least like 3 hits to kill. So when I'm sitting there with Mr. Fantastic and somebody comes up and tries to like shoot me in the neck, if I don't have a squad, I'm dying to a fucking clone, and the clone's got to die, right? Luckily, Mr. Fantastic, he's got this, and his pick rate's not going to be in here, but he's got rubber band arms, so he goes, and you're dead. You're like, what the fuck just happened to me? It's called elasticity, baby. elasticity, baby. The one tank, if I learn ever how to play tank, will be Doctor Strange. That's who I'll learn how to play, because he's really good. Or Thor. I want to play either of those guys. I feel like Magneto would be super, super fun, but his ult, you got to just kind of be smart with it. And I don't want to be smart with my... I want to be defensive and aggressive. Or I want to be aggressive and offensive with my ult. I don't want to have to play smart and play around here. So, like, Thor, he has, like, a fucking... He's got the God of Thunder. And he crashes down and kills you. Or Doctor Strange, he goes... By the eye of Agamotto. He literally, like, hits you out of your body, your soul out of your body. This game's crack, man. This game's crack. And I think the most important thing that this game, it just established was the base. Right? It was the base that it set. That it can just add more to it. It can add more modes. It can add more costumes. It can add more variety. It can calibrate, right, if it needs to. But it's not going to change the recipe. And that's what happened. Overwatch changed the recipe, man. Overwatch changed the recipe. I guess if we go into Overwatch. I guess if we decide to go into Overwatch. Console competitive. Mercy. On console. The number 1. There's a 5% pick rate. I personally played Juno. I mained her for a season. Moira, I mained for multiple seasons. I'm a very lethal Moira. But it's hard to not be good with Moira, in my opinion, right? You're not aiming. So it's like... You can never miss. And it's not taken away from the skill or anything like that. But it's just, at the same time, you're not aiming. Before I show you this, I want you to know and I want you to feel the weight of my words. Okay? I loved Overwatch. Loved Overwatch. I loved you. And so I say all of this begrudgingly, right? I don't want it to be gone forever. I don't want it to be the game that it is now from what it once was. The glory. Maybe the reason why is because they just changed the recipe. I feel like that's what it is. If they would have just stuck to their original recipe. Imagine you go to KFC your whole life and they changed the recipe. Drink it in. Look at it. Now, mind you, this is over the course of 8 to 9 years at this point, right? I was in a completely different portion of my life, which is, it's amazing to see the strides that we've come. I used to dream of streaming this, which isn't, right? I used to dream that I'm like, okay, I'll stream to an audience. I'll be able to make content about Overwatch. Young Bean. Dash that. Wake up to reality, Bean. We're on to Marvel Rivals, bigger and brighter things, right? Doomfist was my guy in this too. So before you guys come, you're like, oh, he played Doomfist? Oh, yeah. I played me some Doomfist, right? I played me some Doom, right? Talk to me about my Doom, bro. I played me some Doom, bro. And I still have never touched my Doomfist hours because I loved Doomfist. I loved playing Doomfist. But Iron Fist is honestly stepped in for that, right? He's gone, wish he was black. Bring in Luke Cage, and I promise you bring Luke Cage in as a tank. We found our new main, boys. You bring in Luke Cage, you bring in Dark Phoenix. Close enough. Got dark in it, doesn't it? What did he say? That's it. Imagine Miles Morales, Dark Phoenix. Fucking nuts, right? Which will they? You think they'll do? You think they'll do Spider-Man Miles Morales as a costume? Maybe. Back to Overwatch, just for the time being. So Overwatch, like I said, man, I have a lot of time in Overwatch. I don't miss it. I haven't played in 30 days plus. I don't miss it at all. I used to play Ramatra a lot. Tell me why they just took away, one of the patches just took away his main thing, which is to punch through shields. You give my guy a whole mode where he just punches. and then you take away his ability to do what he transforms into. And then they're like, you know what, that was a bad idea, undo that. That was literally a whole patch. After they did that, I literally lost all interest in this game. I said, what are we doing here? What's happening? What's going on? Ramacho was one of the homies, man. They put Mauga in, who's just a guy with 2 chain guns. He's a cool design, but that comes after Junker Queen, which is like, she was a cool character, but I just don't understand the time period. And then not only, I just realized Junker Queen and then that new guy are basically the same character design. One's just a chick and one's a dude. But they both have mohawks and spikes. I just realized that. You see what I'm saying? 2 of their characters look almost identical. Oh, yeah, man. You look at Overwatch 1 and, dude, it was basically what Marvel Rivals was. So, I guess at the end of the day, if we were to come to a conclusion on what this Beans pod was all about, Marvel Rivals is going to take over Overwatch. If it already hasn't, right? In the first month, they made $100 million, and it's a free-to-play game. You tell me, the current viewers, the current amount of viewers that are watching on Twitch, live streaming Overwatch, I think it's 2,000 to 50, or I think it's we'll look it up right now. 108. $10,000.
You were my brother, Anakin.
It's literally 10 times what Overwatch is. They have disrupted the bubble.
I loved you.
They have done something I didn't think it was possible. I said, we're literally never going to be rid of Overwatch. I said, they can do whatever they want. I felt like Jesse in Breaking Bad. I said, somebody's got to stop them. Somebody's got to stop them. He can't keep getting away with this. That's what I kept screaming. Overwatch can't keep getting away with this. Somebody's got to step in. This guy. Iron Fisted. Iron Fisted. I guess that's going to lead us to the end of this podcast, guys. I want to go ahead and say this last segment is going to be something that I kind of just, it's experimental, but I want to see just like general feedback about it. It's something I'm going to call Commie Questions, okay? And what I mean by Commie Questions is it's more introspective and generalized. So it's nothing that has a yes or no answer necessarily to, and it's just a topic of discussion question. Or, again, maybe it doesn't have an answer, it just makes you think. And I think that it never hurts to think. I think having a heightened awareness of oneself and one's surroundings is always a good thing. And if you leave here with anything, maybe leave here with a little brain pretzel, huh? A little brain pretzel to chew on, huh? So this week's Commie question is going to be, what is your oldest memory? And I'm talking, I want you to go way back. I want you to go, close your eyes, and in your mind, there's a sand castle. I need you to go dig up that sand castle here. And what is your oldest memory? And let me know. And if you don't feel comfortable, let me know. Again, just think on it. I'm going to ask Joe when he comes back what his is, and we're going to go from there. If you guys enjoyed the content, like I said, it'd help me out a lot. You just liking the video. Go ahead and share with your friends and subscribe. And what is your oldest memory, you know? And go ahead and play some Marvel Rivals. That game's awesome. All right, guys. Until next time. Bye-bye.